All right, everybody, thanks for joining me for FMA today. Let's bow it in. Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Indonesian, French and Dog Brothers, Japanese. And a quick word on that salutation. That is a modified version of the old salutation at OC Kickboxing, which is in Irvine, California. It was founded by Adrian Daniel Sullivan. He's since sold it, but they used to do most of those, and then I added in a couple other ones. For me, I just like the tradition of honoring all of the sources and all of the classes, no matter what we're teaching. Like right now, I'm just doing Filipino martial arts, so I mean, we very easily could do the full salutation with double stick and kneeling, but I just like that one. Let's grab a single stick. And I'm going to go fast, or faster, everybody, than normal. If there's any questions, put your hand up, unmute yourself. Pardon me, I'm just finding a training blade here as well. You'll need a single stick and a training blade. For now, though, just have the training blade handy and just get the single stick out. Okay, so most everybody has been getting in some training with me, so I'm gonna do a quick kind of verbal review of what we've been working on in about 5 minutes, and then I want to spend most of today talking about stick fighting, Dog Brothers concepts, things like that, and that's really what we're going to do with our time today. You know by now, I teach a numbering system called Eskrima 1. That was the first numbering system taught to me when I started in the FMAs, and at least as it's been told to me, I wasn't around, this is the first numbering system that Guro and Inosanto used to teach a long time ago in the late 70s and early 80s. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, palm up. So just on that one, make sure you, like I said, I like to say, make sure you're doing your Popeye impression. There are times in the FMAs when this wrist is straight. That's fine. That's just not what we're doing here. 5 is here. 6, chest or clavicle. 7, chest or clavicle. 8, their right temple. 9, their left knee. 10, their right knee. Then just flip this over, hit them in the left temple for 11. Bring it down, straight up center line, but ending on your left shoulder. That's it. All right, and I like to always explain it the same way. If I'm in my right hand, if I end on my right hand, look how overexposed I am. If I'm a lefty and I end on my left shoulder, look how overexposed I am. Versus if I end on the opposite shoulder, then I'm already in my backhand position and it's easier to come into something else, okay? Not that you have to be a collector, but I teach 6 different 12-angle numbering systems throughout my entire curriculum because I'm interested in exploring how different people approach things, all right? I'll teach this very quickly because you already basically know this except for 2 minor changes. The La Costa 12-angle numbering system. Now you're probably going, well, aren't we doing Inosanto La Costa? Yes, but Eskrima 1 is slightly different than La Costa. So just follow me. The first 5 angles are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and freeze. So you already know almost half of the 12 angles. Invert 6 and 7. So 6 is here, 7 is here. And then 8, just flip this over and imagine dropping straight down on their right shoulder. 9 is the same. 10 is the same. 11, you just drop that right down on their left shoulder, and then 12 is the same. Okay? So with the exception of 6 and 7 are switched, and instead of the temples for 8 and 11, you're going straight down on the shoulder it's exactly the same as Eskrima 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, super easy for you. 6, their 6 is here, backhand. Their 7 is here. Then you just come over the top and drop that straight down on their right shoulder. 9's the same, 10's the same, come right down on their left shoulder, and 12 is the same. So you see how easy that is to add once you have Eskrima 1 as your foundation. So one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super easy for you. Switch 6 and 7. Come straight down for 8. That loads 9 and 10, which are the same. 11 just comes down, and then 12 is the same. Okay, can I borrow you? You don't even need anything. Okay, so just face me over here. You already know 3, 4, 5, right? 6 and 7 are switched. 8, boom, just goes straight down her right shoulder. I'm trying to break her clavicle. 9 is the same. 10 is the same. 11 comes straight down her left clavicle or shoulder, and 12 is the same. Okay, so it's when people are like, well, why would you do that to your students? Well, we always have Eskrima 1 in the curriculum as our foundation, and usually it's just minor changes. All right, anyway, so you had Eskrima 1. The backhand series, all of you are doing amazingly well on. So we know you can just do the backhand destruction. That's the first variable. You can do a backhand destruction to the X, just the X. You can do a backhand destruction to the redondo, just a backhand redondo, or in Dog Brothers, we would say brondo, okay? You can do a backhand destruction to the X to the redondo, and you can do a backhand destruction to the redondo to the X. If you're partner training, I'll show you how you can run this very quickly. Can I borrow you? Okay. So again, Simogene's kind of helping me out. She has a great background in movement, but not necessarily martial arts, so she's going to do her best to help me. Get slow motion, give me this angle. So first variable, I just do the backhand. Now give me this angle, give me the backhand. Second one, maybe I do backhand to X. Give me horizontal here. Third one, backhand to redondo. Give me horizontal here. Fourth one, backhand X to the redondo. Thrust me right here. Fifth one, backhand redondo to the X. And then she could just give me any 2 other angles for the variables that I'm about to review with you. Thank you. Okay. So off the 1, just the destruction. Off the 2, destruction to the X. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll feed the camera, and everybody can just do it in the air with me. This way we're all reviewing together, okay? So my angle 1, just backhand destroy it. Go. My angle 2, backhand destroy it and make the X. Go. Good. Now your X, make sure you bring it back, because if you open, you're doing 1, 2, and now you're trying to do the backhand series from your forehand side. So always remember, everybody, you're going to backhand destroy it, you got it, and bring it back. I call this your home base position. So come back to your home base position for this whole series. Destroy my 3, go back to home base and make a backhand redondo. Nice. Destroy my 4, go back to home base, make the X to the redondo. Beautiful. Destroy my 5, go back to home base, make the redondo to the X. Good. Then there's only 2 other variables, and I'll review these real quickly with you. Keylot. So you already know you're going to backhand destroy. You don't even have to think about that. Keylot flips to the top of the head, and then you make the X. Those 3 beats, 1, 2, 3, that's the keylot. Keylot means lightning, because it's supposed to come in a quick blitz, okay? So I'll give you another angle, backhand it, and make the keylot. Ready? Go. Beautiful. Okay. And then the last one is the split the Hawaiian. And I did not get an answer. I think Rodney, I need to figure out exactly where this term comes from, and I didn't get that information. But I will stay. I think you were asking me, Rodney. I will work on it. Split the Hawaiian. 4 beats. Loop the angle 1. So from this backhand position, like you're hitting me in my left clavicle, but just from that closed position, okay? Second beat, down the 2 line, but you're gonna open. Third beat, right back up the 2 line, like angle 9. And the fourth beat is a backhand redondo right down center line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Loop it on the clavicle, down the line, up the line, vertical redondo. Loop it, down, up, vertical redondo. Biggest mistake that people make is they think that beat 1 and beat 4 are the same. That is not correct. Beat 1 loops towards the clavicle, 2, 3, and then beat 4 is straight down 12 o'clock, taking out whatever I can. So when we do that at speed, destroy, that's where I want to be, okay? So I'm going to give you, yeah, nice. I'm going to give you another angle, backhand, destroy it, and then try split the Hawaiian. Fantastic. Get your training dagger, or you need a long and short. I don't care if it's a sword, a spotty daga, or bastoni daga, or whatever you got. And I've said this before, in my kids program, I don't have one handy. We have short sticks. So they learn all this material as long and short stick, because I don't teach blade to kids. And then when they age into the adult program, they already know all of this. That's the nice part. That's why I like to call this area long and short, as opposed to Espadi daga, Bastoni daga. People get very upset sometimes based on what system they're in. Long and short. Long weapon in your dominant hand, short weapon in your complementary hand. That covers all manner of everything. So we're still in this backhand position. So I'll go over this quickly because I have a good group here. First variable is just the destruction. Second variable, destruction to X. Third variable, destruction to Brondo. Fourth variable, destruction X to Redondo. Fifth variable, destroy Redondo to the X. Sixth variable, destroy to the key lot. Seventh variable, destroy to the split the Hawaiian. Okay, now I'm going a little fast there, but conceptually I know you all understand this. Then we add in 2 tools with this configuration. The 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4. Temple, toe smash, chin, temple. Temple, toe smash, chin, temple. 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit 1, freeze it, drop immediately into the toe smash, hit them in the chin, flip this over, hit them in the temple again. Beats 1 and beats 4 are the same. Their right temple, toe smash, chin, their right temple. And then I go back to home base. The first modality is all 7 of the backhand series variables to just the 4 count. So I'm not going to do all 7 because conceptually, if you understand it, you can practice on your own. Meaning the first variable was just the backhand into the 4 count. The second variable was the X, destroy, make the X into the 4 count. The third one was the backhand redondo or the brondo, destroy, brondo, 4 count. And in the interest of time, I want to be able to do that with all 7. X to redondo, redondo to X, key lot, split the Hawaiian. But conceptually, if you understand it, it's good enough for right now. Then the other tool with this weapons configuration is the 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I was taught kind of thrusting with the dagger. That's the way we always did it with Guro and Inosanto, especially beat 4 was this backhand thrust as the stick opens into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Backhand redondo, right before it finishes, I step into a left lead for 2, 3, 4, 5. And on 5, I step back into a right lead. 1, right as 1 is about to finish, I step into a left lead for 2, no footwork for 3, no footwork for 4, step back and hit the angle 1, return to your home base position for 5. Then a couple years ago, some of my senior students in California, I don't know if they either developed this or they saw it, they were just doing slashes. Slash for 2, 3, slash for 4, 5. And I thought that was kind of cool. I've never had it taught to me that way. It was always done as thrusts. So sometimes in my curriculum, I will create a mandatory A version and a mandatory B, as in boy version. Here, that's not the way that you pick the way that you want to do it. If you want to do thrusts, that's more the way that we always did it at the Inosanto Academy. If you want to do it slashes, if you want to mix it, you want to go thrust slash, as long as you're getting comfortable with the 5 count, then I don't care. Okay, well, I shouldn't say I don't care. If it feels good for you and it works and you have structure and you're flowing and things are good, then that's the answer. Okay. So the next modality would be all 7 of the backhand series variables to just the 5 count. So I stopped with the Brondo. Number 4, destroy, make the X to the redondo into my 5 count. 5 would be destroy, make the redondo to the X into my 5 count. So that's the second modality. We're trying to have everything that's possible with the 7 variations from the backhand series, which remember we learned and we did it with, you don't have to put your short weapons down. It's okay. We learned that here, right? Destroy, then the X, then a redondo, then the X to the redondo, then the redondo to the X, then the kilot, then the split the Kawaiian. Then we add in the short weapon. So instead of being palm down, empty hand here, I'm just palm up, pointing the business end of my short weapon, even if it's a stick, at my opponent. First modality, again, was any of those variations into the 4 count only. Any of those variations into the 4 count only. Second modality is any of those variations into the 5 count only. Any of those variations into the 5 count only. Final modality, and when I had a way more compacted curriculum, this is where I used to this was a phase 1 requirement. All 7 variables of the backhand series to what I'm about to show you. We want to get comfortable with our 4 count, home base into our 5 count. Our 4 count, home base for a split second, into our 5 count. So when you finish the 4 count, come back. I like to touch my tricep, especially if it's a blunt impact weapon. I'm not hitting myself, but I like to touch that. 1, 2, 3, 4, touch before I go into my 5 count. So we're saying 4 count to 5 count. So take those 2 tools in the long and short, get comfortable with them, combining them. And then what we would want to do, we would want to be able to destroy to the 4 count to the 5 count, destroy, make the X to the 4 count to the 5 count, destroy to the Brondo to the 4 count to the 5 count, destroy X to the redondo, to the 4 count, to the 5 count, and so on, okay? All 7 modalities, that's where we want to be. All right, if you have any questions, let me know, raise a hand, get in the chat, unmute yourself. Cool. Otherwise, let's go back to single stick. Okay, so I think I've explained this. So without too much talking, the late 80s, Guru Eric Knaus, he was a student of Grand Tuhon Leo Gaje in New York City. He had moved west. He was training at the Inosanto Academy. He hooked up with currently Punong Guru Marc Denny, who they had met at Columbia University in Morningside Heights here in the city. And they became classmates then again later, years later, at the Inosanto Academy. What was concerning Guru Eric, and I'm going to preface this by saying I have nothing but respect for all different systems of martial arts, but this was what was concerning to them. Unrealistic behavior in padded stick fighting, only along the lines of, okay, we just had a match and I scored 15 headshots, but I only took 12 headshots. I'm the big winner. And so let me say explicitly, there's nothing wrong with padded stick fighting. You don't have to do dog brothers. A lot of people look at dog brothers and go, that's horrible. I would never do that in a million years. And it's not for everybody, okay? But I want to explain the mindset. That was the mindset, trying to test the art in the most realistic way possible. And I mean, I'm a full dog brother. I'm a dog brothers instructor. I'll also say this. I think it's very important, no matter what you accomplish in any martial art, to never lose your open-mindedness and never let, think that you have found the ultimate, the one way, right? So I love dog brothers. Dog brothers is a huge part of who I am as an instructor. Becoming a full dog brother in 2008 will remain one of the highlights of my martial arts career in its entirety. So I'm also not saying anything bad about dog brothers, but for me, the danger is like, I only do dog brothers and I'm only interested in gatherings and that's cool. But I'm not going to be, I'm 41. I'm not retired from dog brothers fights yet, but I can already tell you I'm not going to be one of those guys fighting into his 60s. I'm not going to be like Tuhon Phil, like Sled Dog. Cool for him. He's a god as far as I'm concerned. I don't want that for myself. Okay. So you got to have different facets to your practice is what I'm saying. So, dog brothers is super cool. There's a lot to be learned. And if it's not for you, I'm sitting at 50 fights, 5-0. It's not a competition. We don't keep a fight record. It's a laboratory environment. Some of my fights, I've pulled off some cool things in real time. I've been the hammer, and some of my fights, I've been the anvil, for sure, okay? I've done most of my fights in these gloves, which some to-do has been made about. The only reason I started fighting in these gloves is my first gathering, I didn't know Crafty Dog very well. And in the 3-ring circus atmosphere, he kind of yelled at me. I had hockey gloves. Oh, these are too thick. And he loaned me some gloves. And so maybe I overreacted. Like my next gathering, I brought these. And I've done probably 46 of my fights in these. This is not, you can't hit me in the hands, and this is not nya. These are my gloves, and this is what's comfortable for me. Some of the Canadian dog brothers were at the 10th Pekiti Tirsia convention. We do dog brothers light style fighting there, I would call it, with live sticks, and those guys still think I'm crazy for fighting in these. I'm just like, I'm territorial, like these are my gloves, you know, so I don't know another way. Anyways, okay, so let's get a single stick. Let's stand up. I am a Dog Brothers instructor, but there's basically 4 levels of instructor. I'm a lowly first level, so I'm only allowed to show you so much stuff directly from the Dog Brothers curriculum, especially on video, and especially on video that's going to go public. If you were training in my academy, I'm allowed to, you know, show you whatever you want. But some of the seminal stuff I'm absolutely allowed to teach. So we were working on this in the kids class. I teach this as an orange belt requirement because I think this is super important. We have the stick in our dominant hand. There's 4 Dog Brothers power shots. The goal here is to help you hit as hard as you can, as effortlessly as possible. I want to start in a right lead, and I want to start, the footwork is so important. I want to start with my weight towards the front. So I'm up off my rear heel. I'm very light on my rear foot. Most of my weight, I can't lift unless I redistribute my weight. I can't lift this lead foot. Whenever I go to do Dog Brothers Power Shot 1 or 3, I am rotating or redispersing my weight towards the back. It is very similar in boxing gyms, how they teach the hook. I don't want to, you know, you get up on your toe for training, boom, because you're learning how to drop that weight back. So here, Dog Brothers Power Shot 1, it's not quite going to be one side of the X. It's going to be more one side of the hourglass. It's not quite true vertical. It's not quite, I guess technically it's diagonal, but it's kind of on the border. Be careful of your environment. I don't want you to break any of your stuff. As my stick swings, I drop my weight to the back. I redistribute my weight to the front for every rep. If you want to, if you know it, if you want to play with a florete or an arco or a tail back, you can do that. So power shot 1, 2 rotations, and the weight distribution and redistribution is the most important part. So for experienced martial artists, which this group is full of, sometimes those practitioners get frustrated because Dog Brothers is very specific. All we're doing is developing the heck out of the attributes for one angle. And I already know you can do more than one angle because you were doing more than one with me earlier. Drop your weight back. So every rep, weights in front, drop it back, reset, reset. If you're just swinging your stick and you're not doing the weight distribution, you're cheating yourself. That's the lesson. The angle doesn't matter, really. Okay? So, Dog Brothers Power Shot 2. Put your weight on your rear foot. So it's the opposite. My lead foot is very light. Put this on your left shoulder. Put your left hand inside. Drop your weight to the front. If you can, try not to rear up. Just drop your weight. Boom. Let it go. If you'd like to hit harder, try to relax. The more you tense up, the more you tense your arm muscle. Hulk must smash. It's gonna be worse. If you're just super light, Kaboom. You're a heavyweight that moves like a lightweight. That's where you want to be. Cool. You look great. You can also power shot 2, use that florete or arco or tail to reset it. Okay? It's once you let this go, this is forehand, forehand, back to this shoulder. Power shot 2, 1, 2. But even if you're doing this, power shot 2, reset. Power shot 2, reset. Reset that weight. That is the most important thing. Okay, power shot 3, go back to your open side. It's got all the same attributes as power shot 1, except you're going with this high horizontal. Just isolate that forehand. Okay. Good. If you're right-handed, you're trying to hit me here with a forehand shot, trying to knock me out. If you're working your left hand, you're trying to hit me on this angle. Right in the temple and knock me out. That's your goal. Okay, power shot 4 is the high backhand horizontal. It's got the same attributes as power shot 2. Start with your weight in the back. Drop your weight to the front. You can arco back, florete back, tail back. Okay. Now, when I give you multiple terms, I'm not showing off. That way you're educated. Okay. If you were in a traditional Doce Paris environment, again, at least as far as I've experienced it, Rodney, they would call that an arco. And that way you're familiar with that and you know that term. Inosanto La Costa would probably call that motion a florete. If you're in Dog Brothers, because Punong Guro Marc likes to come up with silly names for everything to help you remember them, we call that the tail, like the dog's tail. But it's the same thing, okay? So now, everybody start with your weight in front. Start with the stick on your open side. Weights in front. Drop it back for 1, forward for 2, back for 3, forward for 4. Back for 1, forward for 2, back for 3, and then back forward for 4. So 1 and 3 are the same, basically same attributes, same body mechanics. 2 and 4 are the same. What we were looking at last time, 1 and 3, and I don't like this as much as 2 and 4, but I'll teach it to you because maybe you like it. Maybe it's going to feel real good to you. For 1 and 3, my live hand can pull to power assist. Literally, it just pulls like it is. That's the power assist for the forehand angles. Now I'm communicating preferences to you. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying for me, the backhand power assist is way more natural because I'm a natural backhander. I do a lot of my fighting. Even though I am a snaky stick fighter, I do a lot of my attacking on the backhand side. That just feels more natural to me. Okay, I'm sorry. And then the power assist on the backhand angles are a push. So your left hand literally pushes to give you a power assist, just to make things harder, okay? These 4 power shots are the first block of Dog Brothers curriculum ever created, because when Guru Eric started what he calls like his Ronin period, you know, his masterless samurai period, he's going out trying to get people to fight with live weapons with minimal protective equipment. And what he saw, you would get classically trained FMA or Escrimadors, but as beautifully as they moved, there wasn't, and I'm generalizing, so please don't get offended. I'm talking about his experience. A lot of times they didn't have that knockout or that heavyweight power. And just somebody maybe who didn't have the beautiful flow or the traditional mechanics, somebody who just every time they got in range could, I mean, gun a shot like that, with a minimal amount of training in that environment, those heavyweights, heavy hitters could actually do pretty well. Okay, that's, again, we're talking about like late 80s when the Dog Brothers is starting to come around. Now, we're gonna go till 6:35, okay? Because I've done what I do, and if anybody needs to bail early, please don't feel badly. I'm over time, but I want to start into the LeMayco combinations. There are 3 systems that are foundational to Dog Brother stick fighting: is Inosanto La Costa, Pekiti Tirsia, and LeMayco. Now, LeMayco was founded by the late Punong Guru Edgar Salite. He passed away in the mid-90s, unfortunately. He's on my list, Punong Guru Edgar, my like top 5 people I wish I had gotten to train with before they passed. Like, I have no doubt he would, if he was still alive, we'd be training with him. He would be, he'd have an instructors association, supposed to be a really cool man. But what we're going to start on are the LeMayco single stick combinations. Now, I am not a LeMayco instructor, but I have enough time in this material to teach it, and it's a huge part of my single stick fight game. So I've hit people, and I continue to hit people with this material with real sticks all the time. So I don't feel bad about teaching it, and again, being honest that I'm not a LeMayco instructor. Okay, so we're gonna be, put your dominant side in front. All of this is gonna start with the jab. And the jab on your forehand side is this forehand watik that's gonna go out and is gonna freeze. On the backhand side, it's the same. Okay, so jab forehand, jab backhand. Now, to get into this material, this is what you wanna work on. Jab to the most non-telegraphic vertical redondo you can do. Jab, redondo. I'm breaking this down, and I'm showing you the motion. This is going to be 3A. Jab, redondo. So if I'm fighting you, if I hit your hand at 3 o'clock, I want to flip that and hit you at 12 o'clock with the least amount of telegraphic motion as possible. And very important here, so the frondo or the forehand redondo, this is the most common mistake. Please don't do this. Redondos are not a twirl. This is twirling. This is not what you're doing. Hit, strike, let it go all the way through. Don't worry about that split second once it's passed through the target zone to when you come back to guard, because that's like a millisecond. So that's the forehand version. Forehand jab, frondo. You also want to develop backhand jab, frondo. It's the same. Backhand redondo. But I want to try to do it without preparation. So, like winding up and telegraphing, that's what we want to avoid. There. Here. Jab, redondo. Jab, redondo. Jab, redondo. Let me take a look. Cool. I see people working multiple hands. That's pretty great. Okay. So in my curriculum, because I do teach this formally, because it's very good, I require you to learn 2 different footworks, okay? So the original way that this was taught, jab, ritirata illustrissimo as you redondo. For 3B, jab, ritirata illustrissimo. Step straight back. And so I'm starting, if I'm doing 3A, which is the forehand side, forehand jab, stepping straight back in time with my redondo. Don't worry about, well, oh, aren't I ending in the opposite lead? Yes, you are. Don't worry about that. 3B is the same. Jab with no footwork, redondo with that ritirata illustrissimo. Forehand, jab, starting in a right lead, redondo into my ritirata illustrissimo. Now I'm going to make a point here, and I like honesty and transparency. Ritirata illustrissimo, my left foot is supposed to not move at all. I'm just supposed to step straight back. I don't mind sharing with you, I have a very hard time with that, okay? Like I had a Lameko and Illustrissimo instructor in Southern California. I struggled with this so badly because what I want to do is I want to be more like a JKD or a boxing structure. I want to be up off this heel, and then I want to rotate, okay? That supporting, or that what was the rear foot and becomes the lead foot. And ritirata illustrissimo, if you're in Lameko or Illustrissimo, this foot is supposed to not move at all. And I have a really hard time with that, okay? And I don't mind sharing that I have a hard time with that. But that way you have the information. Maybe you'll be able to do it. That way at least you know the standard, okay? So that footwork timing, waiting for the redondo, we're going to call that Lameko timing. Jab, no footwork, ritirata illustrissimo on the redondo. Jab, no footwork, ritirata illustrissimo on the redondo. The second version that I need you to learn, I call it Dog Brothers timing. Let me get on my feet here. On the jab, illustrissimo cross step. Redondo with no footwork. Okay, and the upper body, I'm doing the same thing. So you already learned it. Deep illustrissimo cross step on the jab. Follow up redondo with no footwork. Now this may seem like a very minor point, but I want you to try both. No matter which side you're doing, A is my forehand, B is my backhand. Lameko timing, jab with no footwork, step back on the redondo. Dog Brothers timing, illustrissimo cross step on the jab, no footwork on the redondo. We're going to look at, so that's 3A and 3B, what I call Lameko timing and Dog Brothers timing. So I'm going to do these for camera for you. So if I do 3A with Lameko timing, here, if I do it with Dog Brothers timing, here. 5B with Lameko timing, here, or excuse me, 3B, excuse me, and then 3B with Dog Brothers timing. There, okay? And next session, I will explain why we have the two. This is kind of unique to my curriculum, and I'll explain next session why we have these. Let's just work on adding 5A and 5B, and then you'll have something to play with until I see everybody next week, okay? This is gonna be so easy for you. So let's learn both with Lameko timing. Starts like 3A, step in, and follow up. That's it. That's Lameko 5B, or excuse me, 5A with Lameko timing. jab, redondo with footwork, step back in, okay? That follow-up shot, you're always gonna step back in on that, no matter which footwork timing you're doing in my curriculum. 5B, Lameko timing, jab, no footwork, ritirata illustrissimo on the redondo, step in, follow up, and then just allow the stick to come back to your center line, okay? Because you don't want to end here, unless you're faking or something. But for learning it, just let it come back around to your guard. So 5A, Lameko timing, jab, redondo as I step back, follow up as I step in. 5B with Lameko timing, jab, no footwork, redondo as I step back, follow up as I step in. If I'm doing Dog Brothers timing, I illustrissimo cross step on this jab. I redondo with no footwork, and then I still step in on the follow-up. If I'm doing 5B with Dog Brothers timing, I illustrissimo cross step on the jab, redondo with no footwork, and I always step back in when I follow up, no matter which footwork timing I'm doing, okay? So I'm gonna very quickly do everything that I went over with you, okay? So you have it here, and then you'll have it in the recording, and you can play with all of this between now and next week. The good news, even if you're like, is I already taught you half of all of the Lameko material that I teach in my whole curriculum, okay? These are great patterns. If you really want to get better at stick fighting and you want something to do and you're training solo, man, work these over and over and over and over again. Do 30-second rounds, 1-minute rounds. Trust me, and we'll get into application in some classes to come in the next few weeks here. So Lameko 3A, A is always the forehand, B is always the backhand. So that'll help you memorize it. Lameko 3A with Lameko timing, jab, redondo. Lameko 3A with Dog Brothers timing, jab, redondo. 3B with Lameko timing, jab, redondo. 3B with Dog Brothers timing, jab, redondo. 5A with Lameko timing, jab, redondo, follow-up. 5B with Lameko timing, jab, brondo, follow-up. 5A with Dog Brothers timing, jab, redondo, follow-up. 5B with Dog Brothers timing, jab, redondo, follow-up. Okay? Again, I'm a little over time. I'm sorry, everybody. Any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Is it true that Edgar Zulete named Lameko for the Spanish words of Largo, Medio, Corto ranges?
That is correct. Lameko, yes.
And so did the Moros, the Moros, did they speak Spanish in the Inosanto system?
We are often told that they did. What we get, especially when our recall of the specific history of the language, we're often told, and this is the way we say it, and I don't mean to offend anybody, that a lot of Filipino is bad Spanish.
I thought the Spanish, the difference is like Arco versus Rueda, is that they had Dominican priests in the north in Manila versus the Jesuit priest in Cebu, and so that's why they still use those two use the Spanish words. But the Moro pirates, they spoke whatever Muslim language they spoke from the Indonesians.
You know, Rodney, I'm not trying to duck your question. Like, this is what I would say. You met Claudette, who works with Carlos at the symposium. They teach quintada. You know, she didn't move to the United States until after college. She's from the Philippines. She's kind of my sounding board. I teach the terminology as it's been taught to me, but I teach it just trying to be respectful and just trying to teach what I've been taught. Because there are lots of times I'll tell, you know, Claudette, like, in this system, we use this term. And she's just like, that's not correct. And
for the ranges, should I use short, medium, and long, or largo, medio, corto for sulete?
I would say it this way. I will typically teach both. I'll teach largo, medio, corto, but, and this is a very Inosanto-esque answer. If people struggle with that, if it's easier for them to learn it as long, medium, and short, then use that. And that's not, it's so hard though, because you're talking about all these indigenous arts and the people that are trying to pass them on. But I mean, what I would say, the last thing I want to be is a white boy telling you about your own culture. Like, I teach the way it's been taught to me. I'm not running around like that is gospel truth because I got it from so-and-so. I'm teaching what I've learned and very self-aware of my own background. And the last thing I want to be is disrespectful or even careless as far as respecting other cultures. So there's my very...
Dr. Bryan, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Like that, I mean, that's my very safe answer, but I mean, that's my authentic truth. I'm not just trying to like duck the question. But yes, what your original question, La May Ko, the late Punong Guru Edgar wanted a system that he hoped would be functional at all the ranges. So largo, medio, corto, you're exactly right. That's where we get that.
That's name. Not a family name. That was just based on the ranges.
No, because he, you know, I've seen this over the years with Guru Dan. Guru Dan attracts a lot of people. The expression we would use is like the Bruce Lee of art X, meaning like the Bruce Lee of Silat, the Bruce Lee of Filipino martial arts, the Bruce Lee of grappling. And all he means by that is the willingness to go and train with multiple people and experience different, you know, different approaches. So Punong Guru Edgar was one of the 5 pillars of Illustrissimo. I mean, he was, if he wanted to just stay in Illustrissimo under Antonio Illustrissimo and just be one of the guys in Kali or Kalis Illustrissimo, he very easily could have done that because he's one of the highest ranking practitioners of Kali or Kalis Illustrissimo. But that was just, again, I never got the chance to meet him, and it kind of makes my heart hurt until this day. But that was kind of his way. He traveled all over the Philippines with limited means to experience as many different quality people and what they had to offer as possible.
Yes, I wish he were still alive today. Grandmaster Dong said he ate too many eggs and had bad cholesterol.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I think I always get when he and Guru Ted Lukai passed away. I think Punong Guru Edgar, I always get those mixed because one of them I think is 94 and one is 97. And I want to say Punong Guru Edgar is 94 and Guru Teddy was 97 when they passed. And yeah, it's just another one of those amazing people that that's gone. And I like, for me, Punong Guru Edgar's first unique publication, single stick VHS tape, that's the first Filipino martial arts curriculum I ever experienced in my life. I bought that when I was like 18, when I was a Shaolin Kempo student. And a lot of my instructors trained with him. So, you know, not to be like a wannabe, but I mean, I feel connected to his curriculum. Cause like I said, it informs a lot of my single stick fight game. Like I hit people with those combos all the time. So it's just something I want my students to experience some of. That's why it's in my curriculum, because I'm not an instructor, but you know, I really think he had something to offer, and I know those combos work because I hit people with them all the time. So yeah. All right. Thanks everybody. Let's just bow out. Yeah. Sorry, we're over time. Thank you so much for your time. Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Indonesian, French and Dog Brothers, Japanese. Thanks for the extra time, everybody. This will get uploaded really quickly. Thanks everybody for being here. See you next week. Thank you.